So what I have here is a heavy bottom pan. Now when you use a heavy bottom pan, it retains the heat. You don't need to get the pan hot before you start cooking your spices. I'm going to add the spices to the pan and then lightly warm up the spices into the pan. The first thing to go in is going to be coriander seeds. Now, what I'm going to show you right now here is the basic garam masala, and that is probably what you get in most store-bought spices. But for me, once you make your own spices, you will realize the difference into the flavors. So starting off with coriander seeds, I'm going to add cumin seeds. Generally, we add a larger quantity of coriander and less quantity of cumin seeds. Green cardamom, I'm going to probably put 4 or 5 green cardamom. You can slightly open them up. I'm going to add a few peppercorns, just 4 or 5 peppercorns. A small stick of cinnamon. It is very intense, so a small piece of cinnamon goes into it, and some cloves. I'm going to put maybe 4 cloves into it. Add a small piece of bay leaf. I've got 1 black cardamom. Now black cardamom is quite hard, so try and open it up. And when you open it up, you will see the seeds inside. You've got a wonderful, they look like small black peppercorns, but they give a very nice kind of a smoky, it's very underrated. A lot of people don't use black cardamom. I would strongly recommend you use that because it's got a husky kind of an earthy flavor to it. Like cumin is very earthy in its flavor. Cardamom is very aromatic, but the black cardamom takes it to a new dimension altogether. It gives it a real nice, rich, smoky flavor. But because it is so intense, you don't use much. You use a small quantity. Just 1 piece is enough. The next one to go in is star anise. Star anise is also known as the biryani flower. This is used a lot into biryani because of the lovely aroma it gives and also because the shape of the star anise resembles a flower. Again, very intense in its flavor. So I'm going to use 1, lightly break it up and put it into the pan. Next one is going to be mace. Now again, mace is very intense, so you need to add a small piece of mace. Lightly break it. That goes in. And finally, nutmeg. Nutmeg has again a very intense flavor. I'm going to just lightly grate it. So you see that? It's just a tiny quantity or a small amount of nutmeg. Oh, just love nutmeg. I have not heated the pan yet. It is all lying into a cold pan. At this stage, I'm going to close off my box and then begin to heat the pan. It's very important that you control the heat. You don't want it too hot. If it's going to be too hot, the spices are going to burn. So on a medium heat, I bring it to the heat first. And as soon as that is heated enough, I'm going to reduce down the level of the flame. Use a spatula, use a wooden spoon. For me personally, I love to feel the food. When you actually cook, you have a certain kind of a bonding or attachment with food. So your textures, your temperatures, all comes through food. So when you're cooking, I will reduce the heat now. I think it's warm enough. You can feel the heat on the palm. So that is warm enough. I'm going to lightly just mix it up. Coming off to senses, when you actually cook food, your senses are very important. So you get to see. So that's visually, you see the colors of the food, and that helps you. The aromas, the smell is very important because you know how much you're going to cook. The temperature, the texture, the feel you get by actually touching food, and that also helps you. You also hear food. And a lot of people say, how do you hear food? It's like when you have spices crackling, there's a sound which makes. When you break a piece of papad or a crisp piece of bread or a biscuit, it crackles. Now, when that happens, it makes you salivate. It makes you want to eat. And that is what the senses does. And eventually, it is the taste buds. When you actually take your first bite of the meal, of the dish, and the flavors come through, that is what brings your food together. So always play with the senses. Use your senses to actually cook food because that is going to help you to understand food better. You actually have a connect or a bonding through your senses. So I'm going to just lightly toss them. If you cook your spice for too long, it will get overcooked. It will become bitter. So all you want to do is, I've reduced the heat down. I'm going to lightly toast the spices in the pan. just to release the natural oils and to make them slightly warm. Because once you make them warm, they will begin to release their flavors. So just make sure that you keep on moving it into the pan. So you get a very even kind of cooking onto your spice. I'm going to add a tiny quantity or a small amount of fennel seeds. I think fennel also will work extremely well. So this is my kind of a garam masala. Again, it's your personal preference. If you wanted to have it spicy, you can add more peppercorns, or you can even add red chili into it. That would work well. If you like the flavor of cumin, for example, or you like the flavor of bay leaf into your own flavor of your food, you can increase that. It is a personal preference. The whole idea for doing the class is actually to give you the very basic foundation and the technique of how you can actually add flavors to the dish. Because Indian food is all about flavors, it's all about colors, it's all about aromas, it is all about the well-rounded balance for the dish, and that comes through with your spice flavors. Because this is going to be the core or the backbone for your dish, because this is going to be used in a lot of dishes to come. So if you can get this balance right, you're on to a winning streak. Now again, talking of senses, as the spices cook, unfortunately, you cannot smell them at home, but I get the lovely whiff or the aroma of the spices coming through. So literally, you feel the heat, and you also feel the heat of the spice in terms of the smell which comes through. It is getting slightly discolored in a way, which is fine because it is going to cook. This will probably take a minute at the most max. So we started off first onto a higher flame just to get the pan hot enough. And because this is a heavy bottom pan, it holds the heat quite well. And then I have lowered the flame. So that keeps the heat intact. It keeps it very evenly balanced. If it's a very high flame, the spices are going to get very overcooked or get discolored and it'll get bitter. Now again, try and feel the spice in your hand. You know, if you hold a coriander seed, you can literally crack it and you can smell it. So talking of senses again, that tells me that the spice is almost ready to go. So again, mix it all together. They've got a very gentle color of the shade of the spices, but lightly changed, which is fine. At this stage, I switch it off. Just stir them in the pan. Don't want to leave it for too long, but just mix it together. Now the beauty of the garam masala is once you make your own spice mix, I can promise you, you will never go back to store-bought spices. You don't need to make a large quantity. A tiny quantity can be made and kept into an airtight container, and that will last you for a while. Because garam masala is only used at the very end and into very tiny quantity. You don't need to add too much of garam masala. So just a small half a teaspoon into a dish will transform the dish entirely. Oh, look at the aroma. Absolutely divine. It is so nice. So as a chef, when you're actually cooking, you are interacting with food. It is live. It's got life into it. And it actually talks to you. So no, people think you're dulali or you crack, but it actually talks to you. It tells you, I am ready. You know, go on, move on. But this is looking absolutely wonderful. And all I do is I put it into a spice grinder. You can use a coffee grinder. It's perfectly fine. Oh, wonderful. There we are. Now for the best part is to make our garam masala. Okay, let's look at that. Oh, look at that. A little more. We're going to check. And it's going to be absolute magic. This is wonderful. If you look at the spice, it has been ground quite well. And look at that. We've got a nice powder. We're going to lightly taste this. Ooh. Wonderful flavors, very evenly balanced. Nothing really overpowers it. So if you remember, I had the basic spice mixture, which is normally into a store-bought one, which has got coriander seeds, it's got black pepper, it's got green cardamom, it's got cloves, and it's got cumin seeds. But this forms the basic which you buy in the market. But once you add the aromatics, which I did my version by adding bay leaf into it, added cinnamon, added nutmeg, added mace, added black cardamom and star anise. And I only added a small quantity of each. But the small quantity of the spices to the base of the garam masala actually makes the biggest difference. Now, once you do your own version with the addition of the aromatics, I promise you, you are never going to go back to store-bought garam masala. This is what you're going to make and keep. So transferring it off into a jar. So you can see that it's got a very nice kind of a texture to it. Now, if you like it coarser, you can always keep it coarser. If you like to bite into your spice, it's perfectly acceptable. If you wanted to have it finer, because sometimes you have kids at home and you're not used to certain spices and you don't like to get into their bite into spices, you can make it into a fine powder, which is perfectly acceptable. What you do is entirely your own choice. What I'm showing you is my version, which works best for my use. Once you start cooking in your homes and you start using spice, it becomes very much yours. So that is your take onto the spice. So here is my garam masala for life.